Good evening and welcome to Minneapolis. I have been looking forward to this evening's performance ever since 7:30, 2 weeks ago. We are going to have an intermission pretty soon. Come right in, please. Pardon me, pardon me, pardon me, pardon me, pardon me, pardon me. Where do you come from? Where? Oh, you don't know each other. I come from Copenhagen. I was here before you. But anyway. Are there any children in the audience? Yes? Okay. Out. We do have some children here. That means I can't do the second half in the nude. I wear the tie. The long one. The very long one, yes. I have a request. I usually do not do request numbers, unless, of course, I have been asked to do so. And that has happened. I have a request from a lady who called me at the hotel. She said, "Mr. Boogie, would you be kind enough to play?" And then she couldn't remember the title of the thing she wanted to hear. So I said, "Perhaps you could hum it or sing it for me, and if I know it, I will play it." And she said, "Well, I can't remember how it goes." And then she said, "You're the musician. You ought to know the piece." I said, "I'm sorry, I can't help you in this instance." And she said, "It really doesn't matter because I'm not going to be there tonight." So now I'm going to play something else. Yeah. I'm going to play a little piece by a Danish composer, Mozart. Hans Christian Mozart. As you know, or many of you know, Mozart was only from here up. You have seen replicas of Mozart, of course. Mozart was what we call a bust. And stood on many pianos and in windows and things. And the scholars insist that in spite of that physical handicap, Mozart was fairly happily married. But Mrs. Mozart wasn't. She went all the way to the floor. I'm going to play a composition he wrote in 4 flats because he had to move 3 times. Yeah. He never stayed long enough in any of them to finish this piece. And this is called a bagatelle, and it's in the key of C. Who cares? I hope you will enjoy it. And if you don't, there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. Why were you so late? 3 pedals, I only have 2 feet. Mozart, bagatelle in the key of C. Now, where the heck is C? You didn't mark the C. Now I understand why so many people in America say, long time, no see. Isn't it a shame these big fat opera singers always lean against the pianos and bend them? The heavy arias. Mozart. I'm always asked to play something straight, and you know it is not easy. All the way. Oh, my time is up. Sorry, upside down. My grandfather gave me this watch a few minutes before he died for $20. Plus tax. He was a Danish inventor. He invented the soft drink which he called 4-Up. But the Danes didn't care for that. So he added some sugar, I think, and then he called it 5-Up. Still no good. Then he tried once more, and that time he called it 6-Up. Yeah, but no luck, so he finally gave up and died heartbroken. Little did he know how close he came. Come right in. Pardon me, pardon me, pardon me, pardon me. You haven't missed much. But I'm afraid you will never know who gave me this watch. And don't tell them. As a matter of fact, he added something to music, my grandfather. He wasn't very musical, and he was not a composer, but he wrote this. And that is very important, because without this, we should never have had this. I gave my first concert at 8, or a few minutes after 8, because, as you know. Yeah. For 12 years I was concertizing, and I often had an opportunity to do an encore, which I generally did early in the evenings, So that people, when they left early, could hear some of the encores at least. Yeah. Some of my favorite encores were a series of Viennese waltzes by a Japanese, was that serious? I said, Japanese, I speak, there are three things, you know, I must tell you, there are three things I can never remember. Four. I speak a little Japanese. And you know how I learned to speak. Of course you don't, but there's a wonderful method which I will tell you about, with which you can speak or learn to speak any language you wish or anything you want to learn while you sleep. Not here, of course, but under the pillow in your bed, or in any bed, you put a cassette player. And then you insert a tape on which must be what you wish to learn, of course. In my case, it was lessons in the Japanese language. And then you run it every night until you have absorbed subconsciously what is on the tape. It may take weeks or months, maybe a year, but that's the way I learned to. I know you won't believe it, of course, but this is true. I don't speak it perfectly well, but I can get along, and I have been doing so. Unfortunately, I can only speak it when I'm sound asleep. But I remember words like Toyota. Here's a good word. Negi, N-E-G-I. Negi means onion in English. Negi, negi. 2 onions. Such an easy language. I mention this particular word because if you ever are near a Japanese person who has eaten onions and it kind of bothers you, just say, negi, negi. They're so polite, they would immediately say, aso, and back up. And then they will take your picture. But remember, they are not very tall people, so they only get you from here down. Yeah. The rest is Mozart. Well, actually, I'm going to play a little of some of these encores I was speaking about. Some of these Viennese waltzes. As a matter of fact, it is very difficult, you know, to choose a musical program for an audience who is not present on account of a specific musical program, such as a Bach recital, for instance. First of all, which Bach? Johann? Sebastian? Often? I have found that generally half an audience likes a little of this kind of music, and the other half likes a little of that kind of music. And so I'm going to play a little of this kind, and I am going to play a little of that kind, so that it will be something for each one of you to enjoy. I have a problem, as you have noticed, pronouncing TH, particularly when they are close together. It's not easy when you have to learn to speak English and you're not brought up in an English-speaking country. You have to stick out your tongue. Thou, thy, this, things like that. You have to stick out your tongue. You never know how far, you know. In Denmark, where I grew up, we speak way back here. But that's just a small country, and we don't have much room to fool around in. And it's cold in the wintertime over there, I can assure you. And we don't stick out anything unless we are certain to get it back in again. Well, I have some music here on the piano bench, a little of this and a little of that. And that's what I'm going to play a little of. I can assure you, I play far better by ear. Bang, bang. Oh, this is supposed to be a book, not loose sheets. Well, I'm sorry, we've had to. You care for piano music? Here's some. That'll be 85 cents. Do you read music? You do? Then it'll be $1.50. This is supposed to be a little this and a little that. A little this. See, these are all thises. There's not a single that among these. The one I gave you, is that a this or a that? Oh, that's a this. You keep that. What's that? Oh, that's the this also. This, that goes between those thises. Thus. Well, and that's that. No, actually, that's a this, but you don't know the difference. My glasses, they're not in the piano. Oh, a stagehand. Hold on. That I don't need glasses. But they always try to sell you something. We have a neighbor. Well, who doesn't? But he is our next window neighbor, because we do not have a door in that end of the house. I'll give you 5 seconds more on that one. He is a physician, a good friend of the family, his own, of course. And I went to see him, and he said, "You need glasses." So on my way out of his office, I took his. And now he wants to see me when I get back home. But he can't, because I got the glasses. The doctor told me that, and he's a doctor, he knows what he's talking about. He said, a person with one eye can see more than a person with 2 eyes can see. And I doubted that, of course, but he said that's true, because the one with one eye can see the other person's 2 eyes, whereas the person with the 2 eyes can only see the other. That's what he said. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. Will somebody come and help me, please? I need somebody to turn the pages for me. Anybody? You work here? Oh, I thought you were bleeding. What do you do?
I call the lights.
I beg your pardon?
I call the lights.
I don't think you heard me. I said, what do you do here?
I call the lights.
You call the lights. And that's what you do. Mm-hmm. What do you call the lights? You don't know? I do. Bulbs. What happens if the lights don't come when you call them? You don't know that? I do. Long time no see.
I run the lights.
You what?
I run the lights.
You run the lights. That's against the law. That's against the law. Are you afraid of losing your hand? You're holding on to it. You make your own clothes? That's nice. At the bottom, I like that. So what can I do for you? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Would you be kind enough to turn the... I forgot all about... Would you turn the pages for me? Yes, would you do that? Thank you. Nice fellow. Must have fertilized him a lot because he's so tall. That's the lights. It does. Wait a minute. It's when I'm playing, of course. I should have told you that. I'm sorry. Pardon me, madam. Are you laying eggs? Okay. This is a nice piece. Nike, Nike. Apparently you don't read music. Well, I'm sorry, I should have asked you. We'll do another one. We'll do a slow one, which gives me a chance to tell you what to do and where to do it. This is a nice piece. No, if you'll be kind enough to do it. It begins here, and it comes up here. And here it says PP, but don't pay attention to that, because that means pianissimo. That is an Italian abbreviation. Just the opposite of... So it's nothing to it. So when I say now, you take this in this corner, a single sheet, and you turn it zoop, like that. You don't have to say zoop, you can just zoop, like that. Okay? But take it up here, otherwise you block my view if you put it on there. As simple as that. I need the back of it, you see. And then I go over here and finish there. It's as simple as that. One single sheet. One. This is Liebestraum by Fliss.
No, that's F-list.
Flist.
No, it's F-list.
F-list, young man, is Flist. You don't say M. Mozart. Liebestraum by Flist. I hope you will enjoy it. Could you put a foot on one of those presents? Too far. Okay, press down, press, like this. That's it. An early American folk song, 5:30 in the morning, from the wild, wild west. Poof, poof, poof. Oh, oh, oh. Thank you. Would you please welcome Miss Marilyn Mulvey. Excuse me, what happened to your arms? It reminds me of Mozart. Marilyn has sung in many operas and has also not sung in many operas. Also not sung in many operas, yes. She's sung in many operas and has also not sung in many operas. That's exactly what I meant, and that's exactly what I said. Hands off, please. She has a habit. You shouldn't lean against the pianos, Marilyn, because sometimes there might not be a piano next to you when you sing. Maybe a flute player. You can't hang on to the flute. You can't flout the flute. Marilyn is celebrating, actually, today she's celebrating her second wedding anniversary. Is that true? Yeah. That's really an anniversary. How long were you married? Oh, 2 years. Yes, I see. That's what it is. Yeah. That's the second anniversary. Hands off, please. What have you chosen to sing for us this evening?
Yes, I'd like to start with a folk song.
Aha. Oh, one of the folk songs your uncle brought from where? Croatia. Yeah, that's right. Her uncle is an archaeologist and has been archaeologizing recently in the very far where Croatia is. And he found in an old monkery in the basement of the monastery. Well, you can say nunnery. Why can't you say monkery? But anyway, that's not my problem. But anyway. Ah, yeah. Hands up, dude. Marilyn's uncle brought back some manuscripts he found in that, wherever it was. And there are 6 songs, and Marilyn sings all 6. Not now, but she knows them all. These are some old folk songs for the old folks, for some old folks. And which one have you chosen to sing tonight, Marilyn?
I wasn't sure. What do you think I should start with?
Sing the one you like the most.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm going to play the one I like. Pardon? Oh, no, I've tried not to. Marilyn, she wants me to say, don't hum along, because, you know, musicians, when we play, for instance, you play a concerto, you sit there, and you sing along without really knowing it. You hum, or the violinists, you do all these things. And I have the habit myself, and I must remember, hands up, please. This is one of those songs, or 2 of them actually, because, too late! Man, if you don't know the song you're going to sing, don't sing it. You're an opera singer. You should sing opera. Marilyn is a cacalatura. And she said, why don't you sing an aria from one of the... You like arias? Wait till you hear what she's going to do. Thank you. When this ovation has died down. What have you chosen to sing then?
Yes, I'd like to sing the Caro Nome from Rigoletto.
Oh, God. All right, for the ones of you who are staying, Marilyn will sing the Kagame, the what? The Kaganomi aria from the opera Rigor Mortis. By all means. Who wrote that, Marilyn?
Giuseppe Verdi.
Why? I mean, why, yes. Why, yes. Why, yes. That's an expression. Why, yes. It's your language. I'm just trying to use it, that's all. Why, yes. Giuseppe Verdi. Joe Green to you. Hands up, please. It shouldn't take long. Not if I can help it. Good. Oh, you don't tune up. What's the matter? Don't you know it? Oh, one more. It's mine. Sorry. do have an agreement. She doesn't touch my piano. I don't lay hands on her coloratura. You just said that. Twice. I thought you had that fixed. Years ago in Denmark we had inflation, and you are familiar with that problem. I invented a language which I call inflationary language. In inflation we have numbers rising. Prices go up. Anything that has to do with money goes up. Except the language. See, we have hidden numbers in the words like wonderful, before, create, tenderly. All these numbers can be inflated and meet the economy, by rising to the occasion. I suggest we add 1 to each of these numbers to be prepared. For instance, wonderful will be tutorful. Before should be B5. Create, crenine. Tenderly should be 11derly. A lieutenant will be a little lieutenant. A sentence like, I ate a tenderloin with my fork will be, I nined an 11derloin with my 5. And so on and so forth. I have a book here I brought, and I will read. This is an old book my father inherited from 2 of his cousins. I will talk to you about that later when we get to that. I have a story here I'd like to read to you so you get an idea of inflationary language, how it sounds when it's being used. Twice upon a time, there lived in sunny California a young man named Bob. He was a 3rd lieutenant in the U.S. Air Forces. Bob had been fond of Anna, his 1.5 sister, ever since she saw the light of day for the 2nd time. And they were both proud of the fact that 2 of his 5 fathers had been among the creninders of the U.S. Constitution. They were dining on the terrace. Anna, he said, as he took a bite of a marinated herring, "You look tuneful 3 nights. You never looked that lovely before." Anna really looked tuneful in spite of the illness from which she had not yet recuperated. Yes, repeated Bob, you look tuneful tonight, but you have 3 of the saddest eyes I have ever seen. The table was tastefully decorated with Anna's favorite flowers, thrillips. They were now talking about Anna's as a 10 husband, from whom she was separated. While on the radio, an Irish 11er sang Tea for 3. It was midnight. A clock in the distance struck 13. And suddenly, there in the moonlight, stood her husband, done 2. He was done 1. There stood her husband, done 2, obviously intoxicated. Anna, he blurted, 5 give me. I'm only young twice. And you are my 2 and only. Bob jumped to his feet. Get out of here, you 3-faced triple-crosser. But Anna warned, watch out, Bob. He is an officer. Yes, he's 2, but I'm 2-3. Any 2 for 11ers? All right, said Don 2 as he wiped his 5 head. He then left, and when he was 1.5 way through the revolving door, he mumbled, I'll go back to 11ers, see? And be double again. Farewell, Anna. Thriddle-oo, thriddle-oo. I'm going to introduce a young pianist. He's a very, very good friend of mine. He is an Armenian, and he has studied at the music conservatory in Istanbul. Istanbul. He has also graduated in chemistry. He's an excellent chemist. And he has just returned from a very successful concert tour, an extensive concert tour in South America, in Bolivia, and Bolivia, and has just returned today. And I must tell you, he's a pianist, and the funny thing happened where he was supposed to play in Bolivia. He came to the concert hall, and they didn't have a piano for the piano recital. So he did some chemistry for the audience, and where the concert hall used to be is now just a big hole in the ground. But fortunately, he is saved himself. Will you please welcome Mr. Shahan Azrouni. That's all that's left of him after the... He used to be a man. Anyway, Shahan lives in New York City with his family and has not been in the United States very long. And he doesn't speak English. He understands a little. Fortunately, I speak a little Turkish, so I can understand. He understands me, and I. How's everything? We will play together because the time is very precious. We don't have much time. Otherwise, we would play two pianos, but we cut it down to one piano. Yeah. Yeah. We will play the second Hungarian Rhapsody by Liszt. The second. Recently, I conducted the Magic Flute, Mozart's great opera. I found in my research an opera actually written by Mozart, but it said Salieri on it. But it is understood that Mozart actually wrote it, so you can imagine what kind of opera it is, and put Salieri's name on it. Well, anyway, I'll tell you a little about it because it's quite interesting. It is in one act only. It begins with a 45 minutes intermission because it's such a short opera. And when the curtain rises, first you hear the overture, but when the tour is over, the curtain rises, of course. Otherwise you couldn't see a thing. And on the stage are two large trees. One is on this side and one is on the other side. And that indicates a small forest. Now the tenor comes in, he's supposed to meet his soprano, but she hasn't arrived yet, so he hides behind one of the trees in order to surprise her when she comes in a little later, which she does. And when she comes in a little later, which she does, she can't find him because he is hidden behind the tree. And she doesn't know that. Of course she knows it because she must have seen it during rehearsals. But she pretends. Either that or she's plain stupid. Well, she now hides behind the other tree, waiting for him, but he's there already, so this is a little mess. Now the chorus comes in, but nobody knows why except Mozart, and he's dead. Finally, her father shows up. He's very angry because he just wants to get out of the opera as fast as possible and go home. And he decided she must die, and she sings her death aria, and that's the end of that. The curtain falls, but not hard enough. And I'll take you to the opera and play for you the overture. First you hear the conductor's footsteps when he enters the orchestra pit. As a matter of fact, I like to call it the orchestra ditch. That's a little more dignified, I think. Pit. First you hear the conductor's footsteps when he enters the orchestra pit, or ditch. He walks sideways because it's a very narrow ditch. And this is the overture. This was the first part of the overture. Now you're going to hear the second part, and that's exactly the same. Now this is a blip. The reason for that extra blip is that the fellow who does the blips started one measure too late. Now the curtain rises, and the tenor comes in from that side in a single file. And he goes behind the tree right away. Thank you, I'll tell him. He can't wait. He's anxious to see her. Now, the leading lady comes in. She's supposed to fill the part of the soprano. She not only fills it, she overflows it a little bit. She carries a lot of weight to the opera. Let's put it that way. She's about 4.5 feet tall, lying down. She comes in from that side in a single pile. And she goes behind the other tree and surrounds it completely. Well, while you were laughing, the chorus has been in and out, and now a baritone arrives. But he finds out that he's in the wrong opera. So he's fired. And now the father comes in, the Il Basso. Well, how low can a man get? Now she picks it up from there and sings her death aria. She dies by stabbing herself between the two big trees there on the stage. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play one of the waltzes that I'm trying to remember before. This is a very lovely waltz. You know, whenever I would announce them from the stages in Europe where I played concerts, the whole audience would go, "Bravo! Bravo!" Because Bravo played them much better than I do. Yes, he is Giuseppe Bravo, great pianist. And he is a Portuguese. Oh yes, he and his wife are Portuguese, but you can't have one geese. Well, I told you it's your language. I'm just trying to use it. And they have 3 Portuguese rings. One of each. When you hear this, that is the introduction to the waltz. Then when you hear this, that is the main theme of the waltz. Then when you hear this, then there is definitely something wrong. Because that's Chopin. to do that one? I'll play another one. Here's a little Danish lullaby. My mother used to play it for me when I was a few years ago. And as a matter of fact, I never heard her playing it because I always fell asleep the moment she started it. But I think it goes like this. Everything come to an end. You wouldn't believe it, would you? But this is it. This is what we have to offer. Some laughs and smiles, and coughs and hiccups. But when once in a while a handkerchief comes out to wipe away a tear from laughter, that is my reward. The rest goes to the government. Perhaps we shall meet again sometime. Maybe next time in your house. Maybe in your dining room. Maybe in your living room. Wherever your TV set is located, that is. I wish to thank my parents for having made this evening possible. And my children for having made it necessary. I have 5 children, by the way. Not by the way, I have 5 children. And that stupid page turner with the red tie happens to be one of them. And there are 4 more like that. Please, when you drive tonight, please drive extremely carefully. Extremely carefully. Because I walk in my sleep. If you could stop that racket for a second. On behalf of everybody involved in this evening's performance, from the management and from everybody backstage and in front of the stage, and for all the artists who have joined me here on stage, I wish to thank you profoundly for the courtesy and the honor you have bestowed upon us by rising to the occasion. I thought you were on your way out. But in retaliation for your keeping me overtime, I am going to do an encore. If I had known this, we could have started with it and... But anyway, I'm going to do a routine now. The ones of you who have heard must have cost a fortune to build this hall. For 15 cents more, I could have gone all the way over there. We don't waste a beautiful flower. Any flower. We don't waste anything. It's as beautiful as an artificial one. But anyway, I'm going to do a routine now. The ones of you who have heard it before may enjoy hearing it again. And the ones of you who have not heard it before may enjoy hearing it again next time. I'm speaking of the phonetic punctuation. Well, I must compliment you on your endurance. However, had I known this, as I said before, we could have started with it and been home by now. But I certainly appreciate your enthusiasm, indeed. I invented phonetic punctuation many years ago. Punctuation. And it was in 1936 when I first found that people who speak together don't understand each other clearly. But when we read or write, we use punctuation marks in order to underline the meaning of our sentences. But we do not have that support when we speak. So why not integrate punctuation marks by giving them sounds into our speech? Then we can underline what we intend to convey to each other verbally. Yeah. Now, what the heck was all that now? That was right. I'll teach you how to use the system. A period sounds like this. A dash. An exclamation point is a vertical dash with a period underneath. The comma. Quotation are two commas. Or if you happen to be left-handed, question mark is a little difficult. And finally the colon, the two little dots. You may put them over each other, you may put them under each other, you can put them wherever you want to put them. That's it. I'm going to read a paragraph from a book I have here. The same book I read from before. My father inherited that, I told you that, from two of his cousins. They were twins. Identical twins. But they never knew which one of them was the identical one because they looked so much alike. My father told me, oh, he was much older than I was, of course, because see, my father was born in 1847. He was 60 years old when I was born, so he was almost my grandfather. And he knew a lot of things that I didn't know, and I know it now. I wanted to show you a little thing. I have 7 grandchildren, and the youngest one, when she was the youngest one, which she isn't anymore because there are 2 more, but she's now almost the oldest one, because, not necessarily yet, but she's in age, you know, it always changes. And this is a thing she did in school for me. I always show that to the audience. That's good. I did a notebook, I write notes in it. Cute? From the school. Yeah. Cost me $8,000. She was the one who came home. She was the one who came home from a beach party. She was this big. And she could hardly walk. And I said, were there many children there? Oh, yes, she said, many boys and girls. I said, were there more boys or more girls? And she said, she couldn't tell that because none of them had any clothes on. I have a short story right here in the beginning of the book. Page 9. Oh. Page 6. In the open window there suddenly came light. Beautiful Eleanor sat alone, dreaming of but one thing. 2 years had passed since she met Sir Henry. She could still remember the unhappy evening when her father had thrown him out. They had been sitting in the park, and Henry had said, "Darling." Is this the first time you have loved? And she had answered, yes. But it is so wonderful that I hope it shall not be the last. Suddenly she heard a well-known sound. It was he. In 2 strides he was near her, embraced, kissed, and caressed her. Henry! What is love? She asked. He answered, well, I couldn't live without. She asked, I'm sorry, left-handed, where have your thoughts been? And he answered, me, my maiden. Suddenly he had gone. Oops. All she heard. All she heard was the well-known sound of his departing horse.